Right, though, as I promised, we are now going to be talking AI, as you know, a particular bugbear of mine. But a report in the Times today looked at how the Met Police is using Palantir's AI systems to drive certain applications in the police service, while London Mayor Sadiq Khan cancelled a £50 million contract with the same company, saying it didn't align with London's values. As AI companies become more closely involved with public services and government processes, as well as our personal and professional lives, how sure can we be that AI developers have our best interest at heart? Joining me to discuss this is our favourite futurologist and social commentator Mal Fletcher. Mal, great to see you. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Petrie. Good to see you again.
Great. Listen, let's start actually with a concern that I have over the AI paralegal. And they're saying that although the tool will not initially be used by judges to deliver rulings, ministry sources said the ambition would be to develop the technology securely and robustly enough to enable it to in the future. So we could have AI making judgments on human beings.
Yeah, I think it's a little way off yet, but it could happen, yes. I think legal professionals, Petrie, have already been surprised by how quickly AI has encroached in some areas of legal practice. For example, in obviously jobs involving pro forma tasks, filing, collating legal histories and so on. But higher end functions probably will be affected too in time. Countries like the Netherlands and Finland, we now have automated speeding fines that have seen AI replace legal administrators. And yes, in the near future, as you suggest, AI will make inroads into cases before the courts. It can advise judges on legal precedents. It can advise on appropriate sentencing in some cases. Sophisticated chatbots might allow solicitors to delegate initial client interviews to AI. But even in those cases, I think, Petrie, qualified human professionals will need to stay in the loop, checking, for example, things like AI bias and faulty research. And where cases involve significant impact on human lives, I think the public will demand that humans are directly engaged in every part of the process.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've already seen an example of this, haven't we, with the Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans. A review banning those Tel Aviv football fans from attending a match against Aston Villa in November found that an AI hallucination produced by Microsoft Copilot had helped police justify the decision. The error meant that a non-existent game between Tel Aviv and West Ham had been referenced in a report produced by police before the match. So the AI had a hallucination about a game that didn't even happen, reported that it was a danger to allow these fans to go to this match, and the police acted on it. I mean, that's the sort of thing that really worries me. There were human beings in that loop, quite a few of them, but they took it at its word and didn't look into it. That's of deep concern. I mean, it's only a football match to me, but it's of deep concern.
Indeed it is. That's a human problem, though. It's the use of AI there that's the problem, not the AI itself. And we need to be careful.
Well, it had a hallucination.
It did. It had a hallucination, yes. But then if the human was thinking straight and knew their stuff, they would be able to spot the error. Even if they knew the history of what was going on with the games, it would have helped. But there's a bigger issue here for me, Petrie, and that is that we've come to think of the owners of AI as benefactors. So in cases like the one you've cited, we just assume that the AI is going to act for the good, because those who control it are there to do altruistic work. And yet these owners have proven over and over again that for all their talk about the common good, they're motivated by two things, and that is profit and power. You know, they boast of altruistic endeavours like the possibility of tackling cancer or boosting education, for example, but those activities are mostly carried out by independent third parties, people who adapt their AI tools rather than the corporate leaders themselves. And so we see right now, for example, tech giants locked in this race to build the world's first all-encompassing AI system, where almost every human experience you and I have will have a digital component involving an algorithm or an app of some kind. And that's been the goal of tech oligarchs from the year dot. It's just that AI allows them now to do it better. And that will bring us some helpful conveniences, but it doesn't do as much for us as it does do for their bottom line.
I mean, looking at Starlink and Elon Musk, has been much said recently about the growth of his satellites around the globe, and that they are 24/7 observation, really, tools, their eyes on the entire world, and largely controlled by one man, Elon Musk.
Exactly. And I think in this area of the new space race, you see the profit and power motives of AI owners come to the fore most of all. I mean, Elon Musk is floating SpaceX on the US stock exchange for almost $2 trillion. It's a valuation that some reputable analysts say is way overdone, perhaps by as much as 50%. And Elon Musk, as the head of the company, says he intends to keep 85% of the company even after it's listed. So there's not a whole lot of altruism there.
No.
And he's not alone. You know, other companies involved in space travel are already charging the wealthiest people in the world huge sums to book journeys into space before they've even built the infrastructure. And eventually we know they're going to monetize things like space mining, as well as orbital data centers they're talking about now that will power AI when we finally get tired of data centers messing up the countryside down here.
They also, though, with AI, the plan I've been reading about, technocracies and the techno-feudalism, and the idea seems to be from these huge giant companies is that everything that we do will be rented. So, if everything, like even our bank accounts, they're giving them to us for free for now, but then there'll be a rental cost. Everything, that's how they're going to make their money in the future, is converting us all to use online and AI tools and then charge us for the use of them to carry out things that we didn't used to pay for.
Yes, that's true. And I was thinking about Sam Altman today, the head of OpenAI, who said only a few days ago that AI could soon become a metered utility like electricity or water, with us buying, quote, intelligence on demand.
Yeah.
But he conveniently forgets that you can buy information, but you can't buy intelligence. That's something that develops within the human mind. And an overflow of information doesn't guarantee us wisdom, and I would argue that wisdom is more important these days even than information or intelligence. And AI developers are competing for power. That's what they're about, money and power. And things like you're talking about are giving them access to power in the political landscape. They're supplying the systems that are used by government and public services like Palantir, you mentioned today with the Met. That level of reliance.
They're huge, Palantir. They are everywhere in the world. I mean, they should not. I thought there were monopolies commissions and organisations to stop one company like Palantir having so much oversight of so many countries' governments' processes.
Yeah, you would think so, but it seems to break down when governments get a look in at the convenience of AI and the fact that farming it out, resourcing it out to a company like Palantir is cheaper than the government building it from the ground up for themselves. But that level of reliance on big tech within the police, for example, will bring huge conflicts of interest and security problems when we come to analysing data from facial recognition, especially given AI's propensity for bias. AI companies are getting greater and greater power over the economy because they have the infrastructure that undergirds full cashlessness. They have geopolitical power because they're building weapons. So it's going on, and it's time governments really pulled their socks up and started to admit that AI companies are not in it for the common good or for public service. They're in it for power and for money.
And of course, observing us, I was reading again something the other day about people's Ring doorbells that are looking out on the world, and actually they're being tapped into by companies like Palantir to get those street views. And when you sign those long things that you don't bother reading, like I never do, and you agree to whatever terms that they say, because otherwise you'd be reading a book the length of a Shakespeare play, you're giving them permission actually to use your Ring doorbell as a source of information for these big observation companies.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with AI companies, and there's a lot of hypocrisy too.
Yeah.
You see that in the way they hype their products almost every week now. There's a new product that promises to revolutionize our lives and lead us to some utopia that even tech leaders themselves know is a mirage. Remember Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, said, "I want to bring the world closer together." But Meta's platforms have fueled political violence in places like India and Myanmar, and they've also brought great social breakdown through bullying and radicalizing of racial tensions.
Yeah, I find this all, as I always say to you, highly terrifying. And when I speak to you, I don't think that I feel any better. But it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Having said that, and to see your little face. And so thank you very much indeed for joining me as ever. Mal Fletcher there, futurologist and a social commentator.